Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Linasipoti, and this time I'm back with some Warframe content. If you're new here, just to let you know that the content I make mostly is for Warframe, and I'm glad you're watching this video. Now, recently I got back into Warframe after a long hiatus, vacations and all that. And I got Stynex. As soon as you log in, you got Stynex. And I gotta say, Stynex feels really good. I mean, it's one pulls enemies together. Then you can blast them with his 4, which is amazing. The 2 is not my favorite ability on him. Maybe I'll refine the helmet with something, but right now I'm just keeping it as is. It is definitely one of the best Warframes in the game. I haven't told my brother to log in just to get this Warframe, and it is a pretty good game. It has support capability, it regens energy, it also buffs attack and defense. It has the one that pulls enemies, and it also has a 4th that it's pretty visually very cool. Now, let's talk about Veilbreaker. The mission of Veilbreaker, this opening quest. You play with Kahl, and you basically have to escape the Hurricane, the derelict ship, by getting your weapons back and saving your team members. If this sounds familiar, it's because you are a good Warframe player and a connoisseur, because it is similar to the Zanuka mission. When you fight the Zanuka hunter, if the Zanuka moves after you, if you don't defeat him, you get trapped on a certain corpus ship, and you lose all your Warframe, your weapons, and your abilities, and then you have to get them all back. And everyone that played that mission said this should be a regular mission in Warframe. Somehow, make a mission just operator worthy, where you go to the operator, you then collect a few stuff, including Warframe and all that, and then you get out. This feels exactly like that. But because Digital Extreme doesn't know how to make quests anymore, because Warframes are just so overpowerful that you could pick a Loki and just run through the entire mission, or maybe a Mesa, or a Rhino, or a Portilla, and just blast everything, they decided to put us playing with NPCs. A decision that I don't like. Don't get me wrong, I love that the NPCs have a participation in missions and maybe do small things with them. There's people in Fortuna, there's people in Cetus that could, maybe be a part in a mission, but not the mission itself. Because Veilbreaker is not Warframe. Veilbreaker is Gurneer. It's NPC directed. It just doesn't add anything to the lore of the Tenno and of the Hurricane and the good expansion of the game that will be then the very paradox. It's just the stepping. It's not a stepping stone. It's a side stone. It's really a side stone quest that you do just for content. And to let you know just how bad he doesn't know how to do missions for Warframe anymore, the entire team is now doing a separate game, which is Soulframe. This is how bad it got. It got so bad that the original team didn't have, they had no plans after 8 years of content. I think they got content predicted and in their heads until the second dream. After the second dream, they kind of stumble upon until the new war. After the new war, they said, okay, we don't know how to do any of this anymore. They passed the ball to Rebecca and a bunch of other people, and now they run the story, which I don't think is good. So I believe we'll be getting more and more Veilbreaker-like missions in the future, because you can't program a mission to Warframes because they'll just blow everything out of the water, including the Archon hunt, which I'll get to in ahead. But I did enjoy the quest. I did enjoy Veilbreaker playing it, but as a quest itself in the Warframe, it does not fit, in my opinion. Now, what I did like about Veilbreaker was that you could use something that I'm asking for using for Spectre, which is command. Now, apart from the part that the Gurneer weapons were super powerful, including the Raijack, you get the ability after saving your friends. You could then command them. You could say, okay, go here, or stand here, or fight this enemy, or blow this thing up, which is something that we already got with Wukong. The Wukong clone already did this, but we have specters in the game, which is these clones that we built and can use in the game, but we cannot command them. We cannot tell them, attack this enemy, protect this place, be here, or something like that, which I think is a miss. So if I could put the command system in Warframe when you use a Spectre, I would really love that. I would prefer that, Kahl would give a stat that special command. Okay, you have now this that you can use in the game with your specters, and I will love it. Instead of having Veilbreaker. Because to me, the biggest problem I had with Veilbreaker was that when you complete the quest, the Veilbreaker is already there. It's there. The Veilbreaker essentially is an apparatus, a mechanism that allows you to either remove the hypnotized helmet from characters or stun those who have, which is really cool. But Warframes in general don't have that. You don't have that ability yourself, and you don't really understand where the hell that came from, because it's just there. During the quest, you're not gathering parts to build that thing. You're just saving your friends, and then at the end, at the Kahl's garrison, it's there. It's right there. I mean, who made him? We assume it was Kahl that made it, but how did he know how to make it? How did he knew how to use the technology in his benefit, and we, the Tenno, did not. We're supposed to be a lot more advanced than the Grineer, but we don't know how to do that, and he did. I mean, if during the quest we were gathering parts and maybe doing some puzzles to put it together and then use it at the end to escape, I'll be okay. This is why now we have the old Veilbreaker in game. Cool, the one thing led to the other, but the way they made it is it's just a rescue mission for Kahl, and then at the end you got that for Kahl to use in his missions. And speaking of Kahl's missions, they are given to us once a week, and you have the entire week to do them. I don't really like them. I mean, the one that I played, I had the stealth mission, so I said, okay, stealth is good, but upon completing the mission, you get absolutely nothing. You get, I think, standing for your garrison, but other than that, nothing. So if you want to buy anything in the garrison, you can't, because you're not using your usual standing. You need to find these blue metal cubes, to then buy stuff on the garrison. And these cubes are not like scattered through the mission, like in the regular Syndicate mission, you have these things running around. No, you have to find a couple of items, like in my case it was a toolbox, it was parts from a K drive which I never saw. It was find people to save with the Veilbreaker, and it was a couple of other items. But imagine if you have to find 4 parts. If you only find 3 and then you finish the mission, it's an automatic fail. You didn't find anything. And if you go back into the mission, the places where you found the 3 parts that you already found are now on different places. So everything keeps moving around. It's not like in the Syndicate missions when you go in and out. Every time you go in, the Syndicate insignias and sigil all change position. This is the same, and it's super annoying. I had to do the mission over and over again to try and figure out where the positions was, and then I just decided myself, okay, I'm going to fail the mission and just try and find everything at once, because you don't really have a fail in the mission. You just die and go back to the checkpoint. But it's so time consuming, and I like exploration. I like exploration in the game, but it's so boring to having to do the mission over and over again and run around the same place over and over again. You don't have like a pulse. These things do not appear on radar. Not even the enemies appear with their side cones on radar like it was in Metal Gear. So you don't have any help. You just need to run around the same mission over and over again, and I did not enjoy that. I really, really didn't. I really think that they should give us a little bit of those metal blue cubes at the end of the mission. That's it. I don't know how many. Maybe 30, maybe 10, maybe 12. I think that if you complete the entire mission, you get like 100 and something. I'm not asking for that, but I'm asking for a little number of those cubes when you finish the mission, so you can get the items from the garrison. I mean, if you want to buy the Steinax, if you didn't get Steinax and you log in, you want to buy Steinax and you want to buy the weapons, you can't. You have to do these things and be in the mission doing these things over and over again, which I'm not against per se. Like I said in the Syndicate missions, you can go around and find things, and many times I do around and find all the insignias before I got it. But imagine that if there's 80 insignias for the Syndicates that you must find in each mission. If I only find 7 and leave the mission said, okay, you finished the mission and you got nothing. You got no stand, you got nothing to buy items. And I said, if that would happen, people would just freak out. And this is what's happening right now. And I'm pretty sure that a couple of months from here, they will put some blue orbs at the finish the mission and say, oh, we'll listen to the players. We're so benign to us. And no, they're not being benign. They're just holding us back. They're just holding it back, so then when people get pissed off or people finally get everything, then they add it to the mission because they'll put a new standing or a new syndicate, probably with the very, and then they'll rework everything. And that really pisses me off because it shouldn't be the way they should be doing things. Now, another thing that came with this update was you can now open relics in Steel Path. However, opening relics in Steel Path does not improve your odds. They just did it because people were saying, oh, opening relics at low levels is really easy, so they decided to make this one harder. The only advantage that this has is that you by each relic that you open, you get 1 Steel Path point. It's cool, so it gathers people on missions because Steel Path is so, it's not really that helpful unless you're farming Steel Path tokens, and then you really have to. So if you're farming Steel Path tokens, it helps you to go into these missions, especially if you have a lot of lifts and meso relics and be there with other people. So they are opening relics with you, and you can do this over and over. And I did open a few relics with a lot of people, which usually would be missions that I usually do alone. So in that place is good, but the odds do not improve. So if you're really going to open relics like for Korra or for the next Prime, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. You should just go to the lower class missions because that's where a lot more players are, and open them there. If the odds don't improve, people would just start. For opening relics for the rewards, they will still go to the normal path and just open the others if they have nothing better to do, or just farming Steel Path, which is not exactly the purpose of the mission should be. But that's how it's being right now. Maybe they'll change it in the future. I hope they do. If they say, oh, in Steel Path you get better odds, that also gives people a boost to try and make better builds and try and have better warframes to do them in Steel Path. And now, lastly, also came with Veilbreaker, the Archon hunts. Now, I was excited for the Archon hunts because one of the ideas that I had about hunting these behemoths would be that they would combine everything in Warframe. They would have to be in Steel Path. You would have to have maybe a Raijack. You have to go into Raijack, then go into the ship, or then go down to the earth. It's something with these 3 stages. Raijack, ship, beam down to the planet, and then fight there. And it could have been that because the mission in fact has 3 stages. Yes, it has Raijack, and people hate Raijack. I hate Raijack, but it will be something that we would strive for, to improve our Raijack and to improve the game with Raijack. But sadly, they didn't do that. It's basically a sortie. They just added, level 100 enemies on it, and then at the end you fight the Archon. And the Archon is a pain in the ass to fight. I mean, there's people now that found tricks and exploits to do one-shots at it. I don't know what they are. I've seen a few, but I really don't want to use it because those nerfs, all those tactics are going to be nerfed really, really soon because that's not what other people want. But it's just boring. It's just the Archon hunt is just boring. Having to spend 15 minutes shooting at a target, especially in the second stage where it just has unbelievable immunity stages, one right after the other. I did try to do it solo just to see how it was. I did manage to pass the first stage and go to the second one. Once I reached the second one, he was just continuously doing immunity stages, and I ended up dying. That's what happened, and I wasn't having fun with it. I wasn't having just fun fighting this Archon. Now, I'm not saying they should be made easier, but they should at least tone down the immunity phase, at least make him phases where you have buffs, or phases where maybe if you hit him in a certain way, he gets down. And you can do more damage to him, invulnerability, but also stagger or vulnerability phases. Also, we should have, since we have debuffs, because sometimes, just use all debuffs, you should have times where buffs happen. There is a little bit of this, there's a little silver lining of this, which is like Arbitration, which is a mode that I actually enjoy. I actually think it's cool. You have one Warframe, and now you have 3 weapons that can do more damage. That is cool. I like that. I like that we have to, this is for endgame endgame players, so to speak. So if you have the Warframe and you have the weapons, you do have the ability to do this faster. or at least have not so much problem doing it. And I do like that. I think that's good, but it's not enough. Not at the level they made the Archons. So yeah, they need to tone down a little bit those Archons. They need to pull vulnerability or staggered phases, and they need to have us to have, you know, buff phases maybe by touching or maybe doing some puzzles, or maybe touching some consoles in a certain order or something like that, so we can, you know, actually have something to do in the fight and to be more engaging in the fight instead of just shooting at the guy, you know, like for 15 minutes. The second time I played the Archon, I don't have footage of it, but one guy did one-shot him in the second stage and nobody complained. We just like, oh, thank God this guy could do this, because we don't want to be this here this long to do this just to get a crystal that, mind you, I will not be using. You know, there's a lot of things in the game that I don't use because I just think they are overpowerful. One of them is Forma. I don't use it. I haven't put it on any of my frames. Another one is Invigoration. Yes, it's there. I look at it once and I don't use it. I don't think it's necessary. And now is this crystal. Look, it's not necessary. If it's only there to put a crystal in a certain Warframe, then I can fight the Archons a lot faster. Then I'll be like, okay, then I'm going to prepare 1 or 2 Warframes with these crystals so I can fight the Archons a lot better. But it's not what happens, because, you know, you have one thing fighting against the other, which is you have the Warframe that you build with the crystals, and then you have the Warframe that gets the buff for the mission. So you have one against the other, and you can buff up all the frames all the time. So I just don't use it. I just leave them there in the inventory. I do the mission because, you know, it's once a week. It's something that you can do with other people, and it's engaging. But it can't say it's fun, or it can't say that it's particularly pleasant to do. So that's the state of Warframe right now. I am still trying to get Korra, because I didn't have time to get her in the last time. I do have the relics. I need to find parties and open them up, and I need to do that soon because a new Warframe will be coming soon. People are saying it's Revenant. But yeah, I'm still playing Warframe. Not as much as or better said, not so much that I get burned out, but just enough, you know. I still enjoy the gameplay. I see the fast pace, the shooting. I still enjoy all those things. I enjoy opening the relics. I enjoy doing some of the missions, Kahl missions in the Archons. I think they need to tweak it down a little bit, or a lot. But other than that, yeah, that's all I have to say for the game right now. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a great game, guys.
They won't be bothering us.